Please welcome to the stage from Boulder, Colorado, John Novosad.
Man. Wow. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so very much. I'm so happy to be here. And hey, before I start, let's hear it for everybody you've seen tonight, man. It's amazing. That is amazing. And I'm so happy to be doing shows again, you know, because I took the pandemic seriously. And so before the pandemic, I was out a couple times a month, out of state, doing shows around here. And then, you know, 15 months. And the hardest part for me during that 15 months was not being able to get any hair care, you know? So once I became fully vaccinated, I went to Fantastic Sam's. And they were like, this is too big of a job for us. And so then I went to Supercuts, and they're like, we don't know what to do with this guy. So finally, the good people at PetSmart, they got my look back, and I feel like my old self again. And I got a flea bath, so really recommend that after a pandemic. It kind of resets you, you know. I'm getting checked for heartworm tomorrow, so it's a big weekend, you know. Fingers crossed I'm good on that one. So, you know, and I'm getting back out on the road again, which is fun. And I've been a road comic a lot, you know, and one of the things, you have a lot of time to kill during the day when you're a road comic, so I make my own fun. Like, I'll go to job interviews. I'm not qualified, you know, so. And the boss is like, make this guy do every test, man. But they always ask the same questions over and over again, like, how many words can you type a minute? And I'm like, well, it depends on the word. I can type the hell out of A, I'll tell you that. I might be the record holder. I have never counted, but there are a lot of A's there. So. And I've spent some time in the corporate world. I know I don't look like it, but I have. I really have. And here's the number one rule I learned about spending time in the corporate world, and that is always hang out with the smokers, because they take more breaks than anybody else, you know? I was like the biggest secondhand smoker there was, man. Because my boss smoked and she'd go outside, so I'd go and meet with her, you know? And then after a while, I thought, hey, I better quit secondhand smoking. And you know, it was harder than I thought. I had a patch for secondhand smoking, but I had to have a smoker wear it for me first, and then transfer it over. And I finally got that monkey off my back on secondhand smoke. Let me have a sip of beer here. Yeah, salute. So but you know, I try to make my own fun when I'm on the road. Like, I will run out of a barber shop and go, don't go in there. Like, that guy is crazy. These are extensions. He tackled me and groomed me. So, and I like to do the weather door to door, you know? I'll just knock on someone's door. When they answer, I'm like, hey, it's pretty nice out here today, huh? Wouldn't you like to see me coming up to your door, you know? And through that peephole. Man, if this guy's selling cookies, I'm buying, you know? Oh, there we go. Man, I have a superhero power where I can... I don't know how I disconnected that mic, but I did it. I think that is my, whatever you want to call it, plot point. From now on, I'm going to be a superhero that can disconnect stuff. But it's all right. You guys are looking at me like, didn't we see this guy under the bridge over by the... That was me, man. I write these jokes in the dirt and then come in and try them out. And I'm glad it didn't rain today. So that's good. Man, I don't even remember what the hell I was talking about, to tell you the truth. That's the beauty of my act. I'm like, what the hell was I talking about? What was it? Oh, the weather. Yeah, thanks, you guys. Thanks. Wow. Boy, this is really going to look good on the album, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I'll call that track, What the Hell Was I Talking About? So no, the weather, that's right. I don't know how that happened, I swear, but it doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out in the review. But no, so I watch the Weather Channel, and I like to drink a little bit, so after a while you forget what you're watching, and then you're like, hey, there's a green blob attack in Idaho. I am not going to buy any more potatoes for a while. On a side note, that joke kicks butt in Boise, that's for sure. It's good to know. All right. Now, what I want to do, because when I was working the road a lot, before the pandemic, I would always do this part of my act called Jokes I Can Only Tell Here. And I would write jokes specifically about whatever the area was that I was in. So I thought, hey, since we're in Colorado, it would be fun to do a version of Jokes I Can Only Tell Here, the Colorado version. And it'll all make sense here in a minute. I'm hoping, No, here's how it works. I'm from Boulder. I don't think that comes as a real shock. When you look at me, I don't think you guys were like, I'll bet this guy's from Brighton, Yeah, thanks. See? That's a joke I can only tell here, because, I did that joke in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and they were like, we don't get it, So then I was like, well, get out your phones and go to Google Maps and get the directions from Boulder to Brighton, and you'll see with the proximity that that's really funny. So I hope if you're listening at home you do that too, because it'll make it better. So that's a joke I could only tell here. That was fun, so that gives me confidence to do more jokes I can only tell here. I went to Boulder High, and that's how a lot of people get there. But I'm from there, so But we had a weird gym teacher in my high school. It was just this guy named Jim who talked about himself for 45 minutes a day, So then I was like, man, I got to get rid of this class, But the irony was I needed the PE credit to graduate. Boy, for to graduate. I know I went to school in Boulder, but it sounds like I went to school in Kentucky. But I needed the credit, so I stayed in the class, And then, as it turned out, my senior class trip was a Grateful Dead concert, so after that, Jim started making a lot of sense, man. We're still Facebook friends, so that's good. All right, another joke I could only tell here that works. So we'll move forward. Here's what I want to talk about next. They have some weird laws where I'm from in Boulder. They have a sugar tax, you guys, in Boulder, 2 cents per ounce on any drink that has sugar in it, And I get it. Obesity is a real problem. But that seems like a weird place to draw the line, to me. I'm just saying, I enjoy a Coca-Cola every once in a while. I'll have a soda. You might be looking at me thinking, I'll bet this guy's a Mountain Dew guy. But wrong, man. I don't do the dew, you know. But I enjoy a soda every once in a while, and all I'm saying is that extra 2 cents per ounce is not going to stop me. I mean, if I make it all the way to the checkout with a 12-ounce Coke, and they go, hey, it's an extra 24 cents, I'm like, in for a penny, in for a pound, let's go, you know. I come this far, I'm drinking this damn Coke, you know. So that seems weird. And this is true, too. One night I was sitting around my apartment during the pandemic, one night. I mean, more than one, but that particular night, I decided to Google weird laws in Boulder, Colorado. Well, you know, I had some time. So, and this is true, these are all really laws in Boulder. You cannot graze your llama on public land in Boulder, you know? I swear that's true. And that bummed me out, I'm not gonna lie. I had to have a heart-to-heart talk with my llama. I'm like, I can't afford to feed you anymore. You're not allowed to graze on public land, so you're free to go, yeah? Oh, thanks, yeah. If you ever come across a llama wandering around Boulder, that's Bobby, you know? So maybe try to point him in the direction of some private land and let him... All right. That was a joke I could only tell here, but boy, that was a good one. Now, this is true also. You cannot own a dog in Boulder. You can only be the guardian of the dog. And that, I swear, it's true, and I get it again, but it all comes down to the terminology and everything. But so, you know what, that made me think about my life. And over the course of my life, I've owned, I guess, 4 or 5 dogs. And I just thought back, and I mean, every dog I've ever owned, when they walked up to me and they looked up at me, you know, wagging their tails, I would be willing to bet $100 that not one dog was like, does this guy think he owns me? Yeah? I mean, technically he's my guardian. I just hope he knows that. Every dog I've ever had is like, what do you want to do, man? I could go outside or ride in the car. You want to play Frisbee? They want me to, you know, they're looking for me for direction. All right? Still, in jokes I can only tell here, so that's good. Now, this is true too, and this is true in Boulder. You cannot put a couch outside or on a porch in Boulder. And some of you may know that here, but for the listening audience, that made me laugh, which is cool. But no, you know, this is what happens. There's an area in Boulder called the University Hill, and the students live up there, and they were partying one night. Someone complained, the police came, and a student lit a couch on fire, you know? And I bring that up because it reminds me of the whole shoe bomber thing. Like one guy tries to smuggle a bomb in his shoe, and so now we all have to take our shoes off at the airport. And all I'm saying is one drunk college kid lights a couch on fire, and now I can't put my couch outside? Seems a little extreme to me. I mean, I don't even have a couch, but, you know, it's the whole point of the thing. All right. That was fun. Now, I'm going to tell some jokes you could tell anywhere. But that was fun. Let me have another sip of beer while I figure out. No, what I want to do is talk about the environment a little bit tonight, you know. And I believe in acid rain. I don't know if you do, but I am looking forward to it, man. I should have split that last drop 4 ways, man. But, you know, the environment is important, and it is. And there are things you can do to help the environment. Of course, the number one thing is to recycle, and I recycle. I do, you know. I'm a busy guy, so I do it all at once. Like I melt down plastic, tin, and aluminum all into one super compound that I call plastinium. And so far all I've made is a knife out of it, but I'll tell you this, nobody's giving me any trouble on the bus anymore, you know? How about some plastinium, pal? I have found if you ever get in a knife fight, always throw that hand up there over your head, and when they're looking up there, stab it, you know? Just a little knife fighting tip from me to you on a Friday night in Denver, you know? So other stuff that you can do to help the environment is ride the bus, you know? I'm a bus rider. I don't think that comes as a real shock when you get a good look at me. I don't think you guys are like, I bet this guy can drive the hell out of a car, man. I'm not good behind the wheel of an automobile, you know what I mean? If you look at me, I got a weird eye going way off to the right, so that makes it weird at a four-way stop, you know? Everybody's like, which way is this guy gonna go, man? But it does come in handy as a pedestrian, you know? I'll be at the crosswalk, waiting to cross, and then I'm like, hey, stay back, everybody. That guy ran a stop sign 2 blocks over. I don't think he's gonna stop. And I just thought of another joke I could only tell here, so I'm gonna do it. I'll tell you this. This is not the most pedestrian-friendly town I've ever been in, you know? I was crossing 15th Street today at the crosswalk with the light and everything, and I think I'm good to go. And I see drivers looking at me like, I think I can legally hit this guy now. I ended up on the hood of a car, and I got off in Castle Rock, but it worked out because that's where I got this outfit at the outlet mall. Yeah. Boy, that is definitely a joke I could only tell here. I need to do some Googling about Castle Rock or something. All right, so, but you know, riding the bus, like I say, that helps. That helps the environment. And I'm a bus rider, and this happened to me at a bus stop in Colorado. It could have been anywhere. But, you know, say, I like how some of you make up your own jokes. That's cool. You're like, we got it from here. But, no, but say like that stool is the bus stop, right? And this happened to me one night. It was 8 o'clock at night. It was dark out. And on a side note, if you ever come up to a bus stop and there's like a third of a beer, don't drink that beer, man. That's really what happened to my eye. My eye's like, I'm out, dude. I don't know what I don't want to be any part of this. But no, this happened to me. It's 8 o'clock at night. It's this time of year. It was dark out. I walk up to the bus stop like you normally would, you know? And I startled this woman who was there. But it wasn't like, you know, I snuck up there. I just walked up there normally. And I startled her. And so she comes up to me and she goes, "Are you all right? Do you have somewhere to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I'm at a bus stop. I'm going places." I don't think I can time it much better, you know? Is this your first time at a bus stop? Because I can talk you through this. I'm a bus stop coach. I don't know. I'm getting some cards made. I don't have them yet. But, you know, I mean, I get that I startled her, I guess, because I'm a unique looking individual, however you want to say it. But I choose to look like this, you know what I mean? Like, I get up in the morning, check my reflection in the mirror. I'm like, that is the look I'm going for. Nailed it again, man. Let's go to the bank. I got stuff to do, man. And this happened to me one night. I'm riding the bus back. I'm a nightclub entertainer, so I'm out late at night. I'm riding a late night bus back. This guy stands up on a rolling bus and asks me for $1. And first of all, if you're asking me for money, I'm going to question your analytical skills. I do not look like a high roller. I look like I'm rolling high, man. You should be asking me for weed, So do your homework, man. Speaking of that, when I was telling that joke, did you see that thing that flew out of my hair? There was a bug that flew out of my hair, so I think that means winter's just around the corner. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but my hair's like the farmer's almanac, so that was weird. I was in the middle of a joke, and that thing's like, boop, winter's here. I'm like, oh. So, but I do want to talk about the whole marijuana thing. I see more and more states are going to medicinal marijuana, and that's good. I mean, I've been using the generic equivalent for years, so... And now that marijuana is legal, I'm not going to lie, it has changed my day-to-day operations, I get up in the morning now, smoke a bowl, and then go to the park and play dog with my Frisbee Frank for a while. I'll tell you, that is a workout. But yeah, so I'm riding this bus, right? The guy asked me for $1, and I try to be polite. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir, I don't have $1. And he cops an attitude with me and starts talking all tough. He's like, hey, man, why don't we take our shoes off and do a little boxing? I'm like, well, that is a weird request, but all right, I'm on this bus for another 35 minutes. Let's box. So as he was taking his shoes off, I beat the hell out of him, I'm like, you're the one who wanted to fight me over $1, buddy. All right, now, here's the other thing about, being a bus rider and when I'm on the road and even when I'm not. I mean, I have to walk a lot, That's how I get my exercise. I try to get 10,000 steps a day. That's what the doctors tell you. And so I bought one of those pedometers that you clip on your belt, and then I lost it. So I was bummed, because I don't have a lot of extra pedometer cash laying around the house. So then I was like, well, I'll just keep track of my head, of my steps. And I'm not going to kid you, man. That screwed me up. That is truly what happened to my eye. I was doing some heavy math, and I was like, I'm not carrying the 1 anymore, man. I'm out. So then I just sat down on the sidewalk and tried to recount my steps, And someone walked by, and they thought I was inebriated, and they suggested 12 steps. And I'm like, I know I made it farther than that, man. That's like 40 feet tops if you're taking big steps, Wow, you guys are a math crowd. All right, that's good to know. I've got a math joke or two in my pocket. Let's see. we went back to standard time not that long ago, and they always say you gain an hour, but that's not true, But I came up with a plan where you really do gain an hour, and I call it daylight driving time. And here's how it works. You drive 95 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone for 205 miles. You have picked up an hour, man. That's... yeah. That's the good news. The bad news is you're in Nebraska, but you're an hour ahead. So that's another one where you need to get out Google Maps if you're at home. But I go for a lot of walks, like I say, and this happens to me no matter where I go, whether it's a big city or a small town. I'll be out getting my 10,000 steps, and cars will slow down and yell at me, And I don't mean the cars themselves, because I like to have a good time. But when the cars are yelling at me, I'm like, I need to scale it back a little bit, I mean the people in the cars. So, and what they yell 99 times out of 100 is get a job, Which is sort of funny, but I thought about it, and it's like, I have a job, I travel across the country doing stand-up comedy. I support, thank you, I support restaurants, airlines, and bars wherever I go, So now when a car slows down and yells, get a job, I start running alongside the car, And then I look over and I'm like, but I have a job. And it freaks out the driver, It's not supposed to happen like this. He's supposed to yell at the weirdo, and he's supposed to go back behind the alley, and how the hell is he running 40 miles an hour? I'll tell you, I can run 40 miles an hour because I'm a bodybuilder, and you should see me when I'm all oiled up. I look like a breadstick dipped in Crisco. It's not. But I am. I'm a bodybuilder, and I'm actually selling a workout tape after this. It's an audio, but if you have a cassette deck, you can have a body like mine, So, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a cassette series, so there's a lot on there, but there's some downtime on there too. It's just me going, hey, let's rest for a while. This is only tape 1, Tape 2, we're looking for a lighter, the whole damn tape. So. That's cardio. Tape 3, we find the lighter, so things really take a turn after that. 4, 5, and 6 are mixtapes, and I've never made it to 7 or 8, to tell you the truth. So, but I'm selling those after the show, and I have a special Thanksgiving promotion. If you buy a workout tape, I will throw in a couple of forever stamps. All my money is tied up in forever stamps. I made some horrible investments around 1989, and I did not see the whole email and attachment thing coming, so I have warehouses of forever stamps throughout the greater Denver metro area. So, and I don't know if we'll have time tonight, but if it works out and we sell enough workout tapes, I'll have a free knife fighting seminar afterwards. All right? Another sip of beer here. Let's see where we're at. Now, I am going to take a quick look at my watch because I'll tell you another 15 minutes and I have to call my doctor about this erection. That's just a reason for me to look at my watch, really. I mean, it would be kind of sad if I had an erection. Couldn't really tell, but enough of that. Now, other stuff that you can do, you know, to help the environment, which we were on a while ago, and I'm coming back to talk about, bringing it all back around, you know, is vegetarianism, you know. And I'm a vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian, and I'm not a vegan. I'm lacto-ovo, which makes it sound like I want to be spanked by a large German woman. And I do, but that's not what it means, you know. But I'm a vegetarian, and I don't care, you know what, I mean, I don't care if you eat meat. It's not like I have a bus full of vegetables parked out there, and after this I'm like, come on everybody, let's all get on the bus. We're gonna ride around Denver and eat vegetables, you know. It sounds fun, but I'm not prepared for it, you know, but I would like that, because just think if you got pulled over by a cop and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, eating vegetables, you know? And I do get pulled over by cops, you know. They see me and they're like, hey, let's follow Einstein, see what he's up to, you know. And I got pulled over for walking by a cop, and I'm thinking, how fast could I possibly be going, you know? Like, you better get that radar gun checked, but he asked me for my ID and took a quick look at it and handed it back to me and said, all I can tell you is I'm looking for a white male. And I'm like, shouldn't you be wearing leather or something? So, but being a vegetarian, you know, that's important. And my friends always try to trip me up to see if I'll eat meat, you know. They come up with these wild scenarios, hypothetical situations, like, what if you were trapped in the mountains and you fought your way into a cabin and all that was in the freezer was venison? Would you eat meat? And I'm like, yeah, I'd eat meat, because I'm a vegetarian, not an idiot, you know. I want to live to eat vegetables another day, man. Get by the whole one day without vegetables to keep the string alive. And correct me if I'm wrong, but we're trapped in a blizzard, right? I would eat you if it came down to it. Just happen to have a plastinium knife here. It's like, always stab twice in the cabin. That's knife fighting tip number 2. So there you go. And you know, the number one question people always ask you when you're a vegetarian is, where do you get your protein from? And I think that's a personal question to be asking somebody. That's a personal dietary question, you know? I mean, I don't go up to my friends and go, hey, before you leave, I was just curious, where are you getting your minerals from? You know, I see you up walking around acting normal. I'm like, good for you. You're getting your minerals. Keep up the good work, you know? And I just expect the same thing on the protein thing. If I'm acting normal, just assume I'm good. That's not really where the punchline is, but thanks, man. No, if you ever come across me and I'm down on one knee and I'm breathing hard, by all means, come up to me and go, hey, where are you getting your protein from? You know? So, and this is true now. You know, I'm checking nutritional value labels on everything. They're even on bottles of water now. You know, a whole lot of zeros on that chart. That's all I'm saying. I mean, if your water has protein in it, chances are you're not drinking water. You know? I'm guessing you're drinking sea monkeys. All right. Man, I really like this crowd because when I wasn't trying to do that, but what I like about you guys, when you like a joke, you really go in big, and then sometimes you're like, you're on your own, pal. I like that. Now, what I want to talk about next, and I don't like to brag, but I do. I live in a one-bedroom apartment, you know? Yeah, thank you. You know, things are going well. And I live on the second floor of a 3-story apartment building, right? And I've lived there for a number of years. And I come home one night after a show, and I go into my kitchen, which looks surprisingly a lot like this, you know? So I go there, and I hear this dripping sound behind the wall, you know? So I'm like, well, that's weird. And I've been there long enough, and it was early enough that I could text my landlord. And I said, hey, it sounds like there's a leak behind the wall. So he asked me to check all the things you would normally check, you know? The faucets and all that stuff. And so I text him back, and I go, I don't see any leaks anywhere. And he goes, okay, I'll contact the HOA. They'll come up the next day. And I like how you are all looking at me like, wow, this just turned into a weird timeshare thing that we have to sit through to get to Orlando. But well, we'll get there. Just stick with me, you know? So they send these 2 guys up the next day. Troy and Moses was the other guy's name, I swear. And so they go over to the wall, and they're like, wow, that is a really nice Comedy Works logo. No, that was a callback to that other joke. No, they come over and they listen, and they go, wow, it sounds like there's a leak behind the wall, you know? I was like, man, I want to work with you guys, you know? Like, I figure out the problem, and then you come over and go, yep, that's what it is, you know? So then I felt like I was in a bad improv exercise. I'm like, what do you think we should do next, fellas? So this is where the 3rd story comes in. They go up into the 3rd story apartment, and they're up there for like 15 or 20 minutes, and the dripping sound stops, right? So they come back down, and they say, hey, what you were hearing was there's that thing flying out of my hair again. It's really going to be an early winter now, but no. They said what you were hearing was your upstairs neighbor's bathtub faucet dripping into the tub. And so I played along at first, you know, and I'm like, all right, thanks. And they left. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, is my hearing so good that I can hear a faucet dripping into a tub basin? And shouldn't I be hearing all kinds of other stuff going on up there then? And did he tell those people that I heard that? Because then they're freaked out, you know? They're like, that guy's got a weird eye, but he hears like a bat. So, you know, a couple of weeks go by, and then I hear the dripping sound again, and I'm like, wow, that's wild. So then right after that, my landlord calls, and he goes, hey, the apartment below you, there's water coming through the wall into his apartment. I go, that's weird. Do you think it had anything to do with that dripping sound I reported a couple of weeks ago? So now what they do is Troy comes up into my apartment, and the guy who owns the condo below me is named George, right? And they're doing all these tests. And people always ask, what happened to Moses? And I'm like, I don't know what happened to Moses. He goes, I'm not going to be in this joke anymore. And so anyway, Troy's upstairs. George is down in the bathroom, and they're running all these tests. He puts on the tub, and he leaks, you know, and they're talking for like, as if running in the tub for like 5 minutes. No leaks. Then he puts on the shower, you know. So I go, hey, Troy, you know, I'm no plumber, but I would be willing to bet $100 if the tub's not leaking, the shower's going to be good too, you know. So I won $100 from Troy that day. So they do all these tests, all the sinks, and they're on the phone back and forth. They can't find a leak anywhere, right? So now George comes up, and it's George and Troy and me all in my bathroom. Wow, all right. Well, you make up your own jokes, and then I'll tell you mine. But so George looks over at me, looks at me, and he says, "Hey, John, do you take a lot of baths?" And I'm like, "Where are you going with this, George? 'Cause that seems weird." But his point was that I was taking baths and filling it up so much in the tub that it was overflowing in the overflow valve, And the reason that I tell this big, long story is this, you guys, because I know you're all like, what the heck? But here's the point of the whole thing. When I walked out here on stage, I'm sure you guys, made a judgment about me. And I get that. I mean, I make judgments all the time about people, And I get that. But what I'm saying is I would be willing to bet that $100 that I won from Troy that not one person in this audience tonight, when I walked out on this stage, said to themselves, "I'll bet that guy takes a lot of baths." Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. Like I come home after a hard day, I'm like, man, what a day. Boom, bath bomb in the tub. Yeah. I'm going to fill it to the rim. It was me, George. How about that? It's crazy, man. All right. Now, I'm going to tell this next one. What the heck? You guys are too kind. But this is a walking story. I should have done it 20 minutes ago. But I was in Virginia Beach, Virginia, working a club there. Yeah. And a very nice comedy club there. I'm working there. And they have this big road called Independence Boulevard, And it's a big road, man. 2 lanes, a median, 2 more lanes. It's broad daylight. It's in the middle of the day. And I'm going to cross Independence Boulevard. And I know how it works. You know what I mean? Like you push the button and the little walk guy comes on. So I'm waiting, I'm from Boulder, but I'm not like, I'm going to see what happens. I'll just step out here. My chakras are aligned, I waited. And so it changes to the walk thing, and I get across the 2 lanes of Independence Boulevard. I get across the median, and then I'm in the 3rd lane of Independence Boulevard, But these cars are making rights on Independence Boulevard, and they won't let me cross. So now it's like this weird game of Frogger, but I feel confident because I can look both ways, when I cross. So I'm like, wow, maybe not. But anyway, then it gets serious. It starts counting down in the orange numbers, like 5, 4, 3. So I throw my arms up in disgust, and the car stops, and I cross the last lane of Independence Boulevard, and I'm on the sidewalk. And so then this car makes the turn, and there's a Walmart trucker with a big rig, and he makes the turn, and as he's making the turn, I see the window going down on the passenger side of his cab, and I'm like, he's going to yell at me. And he did, and he yells, "It said don't walk, you idiot." So I started running alongside the truck, and I said, "It did say walk." And then he was throwing Oreo cookies at me, and I was catching them and eating them like a circus performer. And I said, "All I'm doing is carbo loading. I'll run your butt all the way to the coast, So now I gotta put the mic in here before we do this next part, because I have that bag. I know you guys probably just thought that bag was like, hey, he took that from under his bridge, but there's a reason for this. So, but I still have a few minutes, but let's have a nice round of applause for the Comedy Works for having us here. And please please do remember your servers and tip them because they're working while we're having a good time. Yeah. And man, you guys, so much fun. Thank you again. And like I say, I've got some more time here, so let me have another sip of beer. Now, I'm going to tie, and this is funny because this album I'm doing is audio, so it seems appropriate to do some prop jokes right away. Well, I'll kind of explain it along as I go for the home audience. So hold on. But I want to talk about these bags. And this is one of those reusable shopping bags. And this one just happens to be made out of plastinium, you know? Just a coincidence. But where I'm from in Boulder, they want you to use these bags. And if you use one of these plastic shopping bags, they charge you $0.10 per bag. Tax, I know. And it always gets really quiet during this part of the show. Everybody's like, dude, just pay the damn dime, you know? And honestly, it would not be the first time I bought a dime bag in Boulder, but it makes me mad. Because I feel like I'm doing my part. Like I say, I'm a vegetarian, I ride the bus, and I don't care if you eat me. You could tackle a cow right in front of me and start gnawing on it. I'd be like, hey, I think that's your right, go ahead, you know? And if the cow started winning, I would jump down there and start fighting the cow with you. But it makes me mad. Like I say, 10 cents a bag, right? But here's what I found, and that is that these much smaller produce bags are free, you know? So I started bagging my groceries in these, and then I'm like, hey, I'm going to need some help to the bus stop because I have 83 of these. You could send a bag boy, and that didn't sound right, so then I was like, bag person, and that sounded even weirder. So I was like, if you could just send your lowest paid employee, that would be great. So here's the other thing though, you know, like I go through the self-checkout and it prompts you and it says, how many bags would you like to purchase? So one day I was feeling my oats and I'm like, hey, I hit 200 and hit send, you know? So the manager comes out and he goes, sir, you didn't mean to purchase 200 bags, did you? And I threw down to 20 and I said, I sure did, man. And I made him count out 200 of these plastic bags. And then I was like, Oprah, you get a bag, you get a bag. So, oh, thanks, man. So the manager comes out and he goes, sir, you have to stop. You can't do that. And I said, you can't stop me. I bought these bags. This is America. I'm doing it. And it turns out they could stop me. There was a lawsuit and I'm no longer allowed to shop for groceries in Boulder. So now, you know, a lot of comics sell T-shirts or CDs after the show. I'm selling this book, and I didn't write it, but I'm selling it. So I just have the one. So see me in a hurry if you're interested. And I'm also selling this. It's thin spaghetti. If you're listening at home, I'm selling some thin spaghetti. It's, I guess I should describe it. It's a 1-pound bag, box of thin spaghetti. I did one of those things at the grocery store where you buy 10 and you get a really good deal. So I bought 10 of these, and then it turns out I'm not a fan of thin spaghetti. So $1 OBO. All right. Now, I want to talk about this. This is a book called The Lunchbox Surprise, and it's not for sale, but I wrote an alternative ending to The Lunchbox Surprise, and I'm going to share it with you tonight. But I wanted to tell you this. I did this joke forever in the 90s, and then the illustrator and the author of The Lunchbox Surprise contacted me and said, hey, here's another surprise. We don't like you doing this, but... So now I'm going to go ahead, and this is how it starts, I swear. It's time for lunch, it's time to eat. The teacher says, now take your seat. All right, that starts off nicely, you know. My lunch is best, say Jan and Pam. I'm going to call BS right off the bat on Jan and Pam. I haven't seen anybody's lunch. I don't know how many kids are in the class. It's like, calm down, Jan and Pam. Let's see how this thing plays out, you know? I'm going to skip ahead because it does read a little long. Jan has peanut butter, bread, and jam. All right, that sounds pretty good, you know? Okay. Dan has soup. Or no, I'm sorry, Pam has soup. Dan has ham. I'm giving it to Dan, man. I mean, he's packing the animal protein. Max has chicken, rice, and peas. I'm guessing Max is Mediterranean. I don't know. Just saying. I'm just saying, I hope he has his paperwork in order. But Sam has nothing, not a spot. Sam has nothing his mom forgot. I know. It takes a weird turn, man. I'm like, what is Sam's mom getting into that she's sending an empty lunchbox to school? That's the story I want to read. Sam is surprised, Sam is sad, Sam is hungry, Sam is mad. I don't blame him, I'd be mad too, you know? Now here's the part I wrote. Sam's mom is a witch, and that's no lie. If he keeps missing lunch, he's gonna die. Hey, thank you so much. So much fun. Thanks for supporting Watch Party.